Hi, Prep Squad, and welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for visiting me again here at Prestigious Prep by Paris, where we talk all about excellence in all kinds of forms. So we're going to talk about excellence in school, excellence after school, excellence while you're in school, getting more education. I'm going to talk about building houses, loan consolidation, getting your credit score up, how to get out of school but while you're in school make the best of it, and how to really just make your way through school without breaking the bank. So for my new subscribers, thank you so much for being here. If you are here, that means excellence is near. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and share this video. Don't forget to turn on your post notifications as well, because my next video is going to be on student loan consolidation. So if you are struggling, girl, sis, I'm going to talk to you about how to really truly consolidate, because I'm sure right now what you're doing is not really consolidating, but that's what they told you. Now, everything I share here is personal experience, and I will tell you that I had a time with that whole consolidation thing. For those who are, again, new, when I graduated, first of all, I'm a nurse. I have my RN and bachelor's in nursing, as well as a master's in management and leadership. And so when I graduated with my undergrad, I didn't have very much in loans, like 15,000 or less, something like that. However, my master's was quite expensive. I do believe that it was worth it and it's paying off. The game changes a little bit when you get to graduate level, but it's fine. I'm going to talk to you all about the things I felt like I did well, the things that I wish somebody would have told me, the things I feel like I did not do well. And if I could go back, I would do it again a different way. But anyway, today's video, as you can tell by the title, is going to be all about FAFSA. So for those of you that are filling out your actual forms, trying to get new money, I shouldn't say new money, or money for the upcoming semesters for 19 to 20, the year of 1920, I'm going to help you fill out those forms, or at least giving you some tips and tricks on how to fill out the actual FAFSA form. So we're talking about, for those who are not familiar, the federal student aid. So if you go out to www.fasfa.edu.gov, that's where you can get out there, create an ID, and then go ahead and fill out a request to either receive money that you don't have to pay back from the federal government, as well as loans if you need that. So maybe you don't get enough money to cover that. They will also let you know if you qualify for loans. So again, right off the gate, I think there's a couple of things you want to know going to the table to fill out that form. What you want to make sure you have are your taxes. So if you are being carried by someone else on their taxes, meaning claimed as a dependent, you want to make sure that you have the tax forms available. Now, you won't have obviously 2019 taxes, because really we're just not getting into that season of things, but you need to have 2018 available for sure, because they are going to ask you about that. They are going to want to know about the income that you have coming in, as well as what the cost it is, if you're going to be living on campus, not living on campus. All of those things are going to be factored in to figure out what you're actually eligible for. So make sure you have that available. You're also going to need to have decided what school you want this information to be sent to. So if you have already received your acceptance letters to, maybe more than one school, or you haven't received your acceptance letters at all, but you desire to go to these schools and you're working towards getting an acceptance letter, trying to get into that particular facility or institution, go ahead and put that school down. And then once the results are complete, this government, not the student government, but the government will send your financial award letter information over to that particular school's financial aid office. And then you can further make an appointment with them and sit down and discuss what your options are. But right out the gate, again, taxes, make sure you have decided what schools you want to put down. Be thinking about what you want your ID, your user ID and all of that information to be. It's going to ask you for that as well. What email you're using. Those are just kind of some of the basic things that you're going to need going to the actual table. And other important things to know are the terms. There are several different kinds of loans that you can get. Most importantly, to understand which ones are going to be best for you. Now, along with loans, there are going to be scholarships and grants just in general that either you can get from the institution that you're applying to go to school at, or from just the government in general. So I just wanted to break down the difference between an actual scholarship versus a grant. A grant is something that you, or money that you're giving based on your family's need or your family's financial situation. Grants can come from several different avenues. You can also get them from just community-based opportunities can be given to you, maybe um, churches. So you could get a grant, just from various places. Scholarships are a little bit different. Sometimes you are going to use those. You are going to use those terms I cannot talk. Excuse me. You are going to hear those terms used interchangeably. But when we talk about scholarships, those are also opportunities for you to receive money to go to school. But those usually are based on qualifications. So either your GPA is amazing, you did great on your SAT or your ACTs, or you are really a great athlete. So volleyball, basketball, football, somewhere in there. And there's other scholarships too. There's race, there's gender, there's nationalities, the list goes on and on. But that's really the difference between that. So there's certain things about you or attributes about you that they are targeting. And so they want to help that particular population or group of people. Now, usually when you get a scholarship, there are also stipulations with it, like you have to have a GPA or maintain a GPA of this. You have to pass your classes. So make sure you read the requirements for those. But anytime you see an opportunity to apply for a scholarship for school, make sure you do that. You never know. Your employer, if you work at a facility or a hospital or insurance company, they might also have additional scholarships that are available to you as well. So make sure you check those out too. So that's the difference between a scholarship and a grant. They both give you an opportunity to receive money to be able to further your education and do what you need to do to get a great opportunity to be exposed to new information to put you into a better situation. It's just they work a little bit different. Other terms that you need to make sure you understand are deferment. Deferment means that you currently have a loan, but you are not required to make payments on that particular loan. Usually when that happens, it means that you are currently enrolled in school. And while you're in school, you are not required to pay on your actual student loan because you can place it in a deferment for an extended period. That period is going to vary. You will need to make sure that you are talking with whoever your loan provider is to figure out what their rules and regulations are that surround that. Now, the thing to know is you only have a set amount of time that you can continue to defer your loans. So make sure you are well versed in what those are. You also want to make sure that you understand that a subsidized loan is also going to provide money for you to be able to get an education, but a subsidized loan is going to begin based on your family's need, the cost of school, whether you're on campus, you're not on campus. All of those things are going to be factored in to figure out how much you actually qualify for. The nice thing about a subsidized loan is that while you're in school, even if you're in deferment, your loan is not going to accrue interest. So for those of you who are not familiar with loans, but usually with the loan, the actual provider makes money off of the interest. So they tack a little bit extra, sometimes a lot of bit extra onto your loan to make a profit off of them actually giving you money to be able to do whatever it is you need to do. In this case, we're talking about school. So buying books, buying computers, whatever you need to do, paying for classes and things of that sort. So subsidized is great, I think, because while you're in school, you have the deferment, but you don't have any additional monies that are stacking up in the way of accruing interest, if you will, on top of what you already owe. So who doesn't want to do that? So if you can get a subsidized loan is the way to go. Technically, scholarships and grants is the way to go. But if that does not work, get you a subsidized loan. Okay. Now, there's also an unsubsidized loan, and it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's just not the greatest option, right? It's not the Bentleys of all the options. However, if you need to get a loan and unsubsidized is all they're going to give you, go for it. Make sure your terms are right and do what you have to do, because sometimes it's necessary. And in my case, I felt like it was worth it. I think I have unsubsidized loan too. However, now unsubsidized does work the same. So they're going to look at what the school costs if you're on campus, you're off campus, what are all of the fees that you're going to be incurring, as well as what does your family bring in? What does the income look like? Are there additional monies, properties, any passive income that might be coming in, 401ks, IRAs, all of those are going to be taken into consideration as well. However, when it comes to an unsubsidized loan, even though you say, okay, I'm in school and so I don't have to pay my loan right now, I don't have a loan payment, they're going to continue to add interest onto your loan every single month. So by the time you're done with school, not only will you have the balance that you previously owed, but you will also have a huge amount of interest that has been added to your loan that you will also be responsible for. So I know people don't usually like to do this, but if you if you have an unsubsidized loan and you have a little bit of money to be able to cover the interest every month, just go ahead and do that. Go ahead and cover your interest every month so that that's not an additional bill and it's a small amount that you're paying if you can. Now, if you can't, then I totally understand. I understand what it means to be in college and, you got to figure it out. So if that is your situation, I completely understand, but I do want you to understand that they are still going to add on interest onto your loan. And that's going to be until your loan is completely paid off. So as long as you have a balance with them, they are going to get a set amount of money. The interest can range, I've seen it all across the board. I've seen anywhere from a low 5 to a 6.5. So there are parameters around that. So it really just depends on your credit and again, what they're willing to do based on what your need is. So you want to make sure you understand the differences between the two. A loan is a loan, so you still have to pay it back. It's just the terms. You have to make sure that you're comfortable with those terms. Also, you need to understand thinking long term, even for my ladies and gentlemen that are just starting school, I completely understand if you're not thinking about having to repay it, and it's great that you can defer it, but there's going to come a time when you are going to have to repay it. What you need to understand is when you graduate from school, you will have 6 months, usually in general, 6 months of time where you don't have to start paying your loans back. However, if you had previous loans, so let's say I went to school and I got my bachelor's and whatever, and I graduate, I have 6 months to start paying my loan back or before they start sending me a bill. However, if I go back to school, maybe I go back to get, another bachelor's or a master's, whatever that might be, when I'm done with that second set of education, the previous loans that I had prior are due immediately once I'm done with school. I don't get that 6 month window to start. I do get the 6 month for the new set of loans that I started. So make sure you understand that they're going to be looking for their coins immediately after school. So, it's great to keep going back to school, but anything that you had prior to what you're asking for now is going to be due the moment you are done with school. Be prepared. Okay. Be prepared. Brace yourself. But I don't want you to be surprised or taken aback because these are things that nobody tells you. Maybe they tell you in the fine print, but really while you're going through the hustle and bustle, you're just like, okay, I'm happy to get this loan. I'm trying to do what I need to do. And a lot of times it gets missed. So I definitely want to make sure that does not happen to you. All right. So again, when you go to fill out the actual form, make sure you do, if you have a tax consultant or you have a tax preparer that you work with in general, then make sure you have a conversation with them. They will have some very sound advice about what that form needs to look like, how it needs to be filled out based on your current situation. There are going to be terms on there that you may or may not understand. Like I mentioned, the IRA, the 401k, the Roth, the savings account. If you don't really understand what they're asking, make sure you call them, the FAFSA, the Federal Student Aid Government, the Federal Student Aid number customer service to get some additional information on it if you don't have somebody that can help break it down for you. But the rule of thumb here, if you don't understand, make sure you call and ask. You're talking about getting ready to take money from someone. You need to know what the terms are, period. So don't feel bad about needing to make that phone call. Make sure you do that. When you get your financial aid form complete, if you have never set up, let me roll it back. If you have never applied for a PIN, you are going to need a PIN number. So when you get on the website, it's going to prompt you to create a profile, and they're going to send you a PIN number that you will use as your personal identification number to get in and out of the system. You can continue to use that year after year if you're continuing to apply. Make sure you put that somewhere safe. You do not want anybody to get a hold of that. That is it's very important, especially because it's like your social security number essentially. So you definitely want to make sure that you keep a copy of that put away, tucked away somewhere safe. Let's see. So we talked about filling out the form. We talked about, So really, I think the most important thing to know when you're filling out the form is that you need to take your time. There's going to be a window of when it has to be completed, make sure you start early so you can gather all the information you need. This is not something that you want to rush. If you need to make an appointment to sit down with the financial aid advisor of the school you plan to attend, make sure you do that. If it takes 1 appointment, 2 appointments, 5 appointments, 10 appointments, do what you need to do to make sure you understand what you're signing and what you are agreeing to. The last thing I want you to do is to say yes to a loan that you can then not repay, did not understand the terms, and then you're locked in a crazy situation of 360 almost, if you will. I don't want you to do that. So again, I don't want this video to be too long, but I hope that was helpful for you. Make sure you get those taxes. Make sure you're thinking about where your ID number is. Go ahead and apply for your PIN. Do not share that information with anyone. Take your time on the form. It's very similar to what you're going to see on the tax form. It's going to tell you exactly what lines you need to complete. Do a side by side. If you have a PDF of your taxes, you can pull that up while you fill out your FAFSA, or you can just print out a copy and work your way through there as well. Again, rule of thumb, make sure you ask questions. If you don't know, you need to absolutely ask. Be very mindful of what you're getting. Do not take out an extensive amount of loans because they're going to give you $8,000 and you only really need $3,000. But you're thinking, okay, I'm going to take this $8,000 and I'm going to do whatever. I don't know. Something other than buying books, laptops, something that's going to be beneficial for you, because you are going to have to pay that money back. The less you have to pay back, the better. So do what you have to do, figure it out, get a part-time job, whatever you need to do to make it work, so that when it comes time to pay this money back, you are not in a situation that is not allowing you to see the new money that you're going to be making with this fabulous education that you have. So again, I hope you come back for another video. I do have another video coming on loan consolidation for those of you that have student loans and you're trying to figure out how to get out of the vicious cycle, and you're trying to figure out why your credit score is being affected in a negative way. If you're trying to figure out, I'm paying all this money every month, where is it going? I don't see any differences. They're telling me I'm consolidated, but I'm not really consolidated. That video is coming for you. So stay tuned for that. Again, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, you can reach me at prestigiousprep@gmail.com. I'm sorry, PrestigiousPrepByParis@gmail.com.